All right, we are on the draw in match 1 of this league with Looting Rug Delver. This isn't great, but I think it's kind of a keep. We don't have a threat, but we've got interaction for anything the opponent's doing. Granted, this is pretty bad against control and big mana, so we probably are just mulliganing it. This hand, I'm not going to say it's good, but it's maybe better than the previous hand we had. 4 lands is definitely a lot. I would be extremely surprised if I ended up playing all those out. I actually might top this lightning bolt. If our opponent is on an aggro deck, I'm going to be really glad I did that. If they're on anything else, I'm probably going to be sad. But 4 lands Pyromancer looks pretty bad against aggro. Even mid-range has bolt targets. Blood Crypt. Oh dear, it's a Thoughtseize. Alright. We're going to have 2 bolts against the mid-range deck. That's a thing. Let's go get our breeding pool. Don't really want another island or steam vents, so if we draw that breeding pool, this flooded strand gets much worse. Black-red mid-range? Oh, Mardu Pyromancer, what am I saying? Probably Mardu Pyromancer. It's possible it's not. Let's grab that tap. Just let the opponent know we're on green. Okay, that's not good. I'm assuming we don't need to hold up Lightning Bolt, so we're just not going to tell them our draws. Let's throw this over here. If they slam a Blood Moon, we're not in that bad shape. That's fine. Okay. Well, we're winning in terms of land drops. That's where we want to be, right? Mandrills, joke's on you, Thoughtseize opponent. Thanks for the acceleration. What land are we playing out here? Does it matter? It might. Given that whatever we don't play is quite possibly being discarded to Faithless Looting, so I think it's the double red that we want. We're just going to get rid of this entire bin. Snapcaster Mage doesn't care because we have another bolt in hand. Tarmogoyf probably doesn't mind given their graveyard. I wonder if it's straight black-red. Dreadbore. Looting. That's great. Once instant hits the bin, this is a 4/5, so I think we're actually going to keep the 4th land just so we can have Goyf with Denial up. Yes, that is what we're going to do. Do I want double green, triple red? Shocking might be relevant. Shocking might be relevant. Double green probably isn't. And triple red probably isn't either. Come on, Goyf. Our opponent's got 2 cards left. They might not have removal for this Goyf. They can almost cast a Bedlam Reveler. 3 instants and sorceries in that graveyard. Actually, 3 sorceries in that graveyard. Our opponent apparently does not care for instants. Blood Moon. You know what? Cuts me off of green, but I get to keep my denial. Actually, Blood Moon into basic Swamp Fatal Push would have been awesome from our opponent there. We can cast that anyways, but it's probably bad here. We could cast this one, but it forces us to dump this. I think we're going to loot next turn, quite possibly off the one in the graveyard, just so that we have 1 more card in our hand. Given that any land not named Forest is pretty bad from here, I think Pyromancer. Well, I can't stop that, so it's going to resolve. I think there's a pretty good chance we're going to be able to loot into something we want to discard. So any card I don't like, I think I'm just going to get rid of. Delver's normally great, but since we only have the one blue source, I think that's worth pulling the trigger. Do I want to use this one? It costs less mana. It's better if I draw into something like a bolt for this Pyromancer. Discarding the Delver doesn't seem like a huge cost. Delver Goyf. Sure. I held on to the Delver because I can actually cast it. So if they go untap, swamp, push, push, we counter one, lose the Goyf. Delver comes down after. I kind of like the opponent not blocking with their Pyromancer there, since I'm assuming they don't have removal yet, and they've just been waiting to draw into it. So if they lost this Pyromancer and they just didn't have a board, they probably would be really far behind. Whereas taking the 4 there gives them a maybe chance to get back into it. Lightning Bolt. That's pretty good. I don't think I want to just bolt that Pyromancer. I'm going to swing. If they block with that one, I'm probably bolting the other. I'm expecting a spell here, yeah. Lightning Bolt. Targeting me. That means they just plan on chump blocking. I don't think I care to counter that Lightning Bolt. If they don't block here, we're definitely bolting them, but I assume they're going to chump. Yup. And I think at this point, we're going to slam Delver, right? They might find a push for this, but Goyf isn't great anyways. Right now, Delver's looking a lot better. We get to bolt on their turn and maybe loot into another. Also, there's the fact that Delver's a bolt on wings. Well, if it transforms, but we hope. What do we got? Bolt the Delver. Ooh, 4 mana Reveler. You got it, opponent. Denial is not up. If they go land spell, we cannot counter it. It looks like they don't have land spell. I will happily take 4. You got it. If we didn't have Faithless Looting, I would be bolting on my turn, just in case we want to bolt something that isn't their face. Since we do have Faithless Looting, and it's actually relevant that we loot and then are able to bolt, I'm just going to do it like this. If this doesn't transform, we could be in trouble. All right, Mardu Pyro. We didn't actually see white, but we're going to go with Mardu Pyromancer here. What do we want? Cards that are good against mid-range decks, probably. What cards do we have that are good against mid-range decks? Is it those 4? Alpine Moon doesn't look good here. Basilisk Collar, because I like to race Mardu. Well, I like making it bad for Mardu to race us. Snap, Pyroclasm, EE, Collar, Huntmaster. Yup. Stuff that comes out. Spell Snare, and the 4 removal spells for fatties. Snare does hit Terminate, Dreadbore, and Pyromancer, but I don't think that's worth a slot in our deck, even though we do have looting. I don't... Okay. Looting makes having dead cards not so bad, but I don't think it's worth... I'm trying to figure out how to phrase my thoughts on this. I don't think looting is a good excuse for having more dead cards because you want it to get rid of the dead cards you have. You don't want to add more dead cards and say, oh, I'll just get rid of them with looting. And then you end up with a Spell Snare, a Mana Leak, and 3 lands in hand late in the game when your opponent has a board and you have nothing going on. And you say, oh, well, if you have a looting, that's not so bad. You get to get rid of at least some of them. But if you don't have a looting, you're just, well, you're kind of screwed. So they dumped Fatal Push and Mountain. Alright, so I kind of want to play around Blood Moon here. Oh, we're playing around Blood Moon. Basic Forest has our back. Let's grab an island and cast Visions. Basilisk Collar, Looting Visions. I like all of our cards. I like every single one of them. Let's top both of these. Back to you, opponent. This is questionable, especially with Pyromancer. Maybe you shouldn't have Collar. If I wasn't playing Pyromancer, what was my other build? Playing Nux. Nux is pretty good with Collar, but Nux gets boarded out here anyways. There's a Pyromancer. We're going to get rid of that. And Weaken Visions? That sounds like a great turn. Looting into PZ and Goyf. I just want both, right? Just all the threats we could possibly have is great. We're playing against a mid-range deck, so we may as well just have threat after threat after threat. Our opponent is winning. They're up 2 life points. I don't know what their hand looks like, but I feel like we're in a good position. Lingering Souls, sure. We'll deal with those eventually. It's fine. It's fine. All right. Do I play Pyromancer? I kind of want to play Pyromancer in case their removal is Fatal Push. Do I want to go Pyromancer Loot? I kind of don't want to discard anything, maybe Bolt. The rest of these are great, and we know there's a Pyromancer on top of our deck. So I don't think looting's actually where we want to be. Maybe I go Goyf plus Collar. That's probably acceptable. Yeah, let's do that. This is worse if they have Fatal Push and not Lightning Bolt. But I don't really want to loot when I know that I like the cards I'm about to draw. And Bolt isn't exactly good here. They probably take Pyromancer. Although I could see an argument for looting. Lightning Bolt I don't think they take unless they have another Pyromancer they want to stick. This is fine. They have 4 instants and sorceries in their bin. Not surprised to see some spirits connecting here. Although, if our opponent... Okay, so maybe Path? If they're not holding up something to do some work against Goyf, I don't see a reason not to fetch Shock and Souls. So I am probably just going to go PZ and then loot. Do I want a PZ loot? Let's swing first. Let's test the waters, see what's up. I don't want to put Collar on this because it's going to be a massive tempo swing for the opponent. Looks like there's that removal spell I assumed they had. Yup. You got it. That makes me happy. Alright. Let's loot. We're going to leave up blue, I think, here for cantrips and things of that sort. Maybe you want to leave up green for mandrills. I'm not sure. That's a tricky one. They're low on cards, so I'm going to say Bolt is bad. And then go to the opponent. Now, other than Collar, I'm not sure we can actually win this race. And Collar's basically giving us 1 life a turn, which really is not great. However, we have lootings in the bank. You got it. Can't block those. We're definitely attacking with our elementals. Alright, elemental. More souls, that's fine. We have answers to this. Denial's not one of them. Let's see. Kolagon's command makes not being able to play and crack EE in the same turn pretty bad. Pyroclasm also costs 2 mana. So I might just loot with this one. Yeah, let's do that. Mandrills. Well, we're gonna bin these counters. I'm gonna swing with this elemental. And I think I'm gonna do this as well. We may as well gain a life here. We can't block, so we're absolutely attacking. Yep. We got to gain a life and deal with a spirit. That is great. Okay, Goyf. They have instant, land, creature, and sorcery. So we basically have free reign of the place. Let's dump 2 creatures. Do I need all these lootings? I may as well save some. Get rid of a denial, a visions, and bolt, forked bolt, a looting. Yeah, let's dump a looting. We're not casting all 3 from flashback. We're hoping they don't have an answer to this mandrills. 3 mana, flashback looting. Mandrills plus collar is nice. It's something I like a lot. Terminate. Did you find it? They found Dreadbore. That's the same thing. Well, we can loot. We can still loot. That gets looted. Red. Do I want to leave up? We're definitely tapping the island because Steam Vents is strictly better. What are the chances we find another Mandrills? We have a lot of spells that aren't named Mandrills that we can cast off of Vents, such as Lightning Bolt. We might end up bolting a Spirit. It'll probably end up saving us a lot of life. Turns their 3-turn clock into a... They might have a Pyromancer to follow up this attack, but I'm going to use this anyways because if they have the Pyromancer and if they don't have the Pyromancer, their play there's the same. Just go to combat. Mandrills. Can't block, so life gain is irrelevant. Let's delve. Land. Land? They only have so many answers to Mandrills. Sooner or later, this is going to stick. Let's check on Reveler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Reveler's great. Coming down for red without a problem. All right. Flooded Strand. I am going to hope they don't have a Terminate. I don't think they leave their spirits back unless they have exactly 1 lightning bolt, 2 bolts, and you probably just double bolt the mandrills. That's fantastic. We're going to pass the turn now because I'm going to loot this away sooner or later. Like this card against Mardu Pyromancer, and this is why. It's not for the Death Touch. Although Mandrills and Huntmaster with Death Touch against Revelers is nice. Now I'm expecting a Lightning Bolt. Then again, they still attack with 1 of these if they have a bolt, right? So maybe now they're realizing they can't win the race and they just want to hold back. We can loot and play Delver. So that's probably what we do. If we find a Stubborn Denial, we probably just hold on to that. But now that I think about it, both are gone. Delver and Lightning Bolt sounds good. We're going to swing. If they block with exactly 1 spirit token, I'm probably going to bolt it. First Lightning Bolt. Be smart if the opponent blocks with both, just in case. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot from our opponent. This is fine. Can't stop that. Absolutely. Slam Delver. However, Mandrill's and Collar put us back up to 13. That is healthy. I'm actually regretting exiling the 3rd Faithless Looting. That card is kind of absurd. Peasy? Anger. Ooh, boy. That's fair. They saw Pyromancer out of us. Snapcaster Mage. They might have Helix. I'll do this on their turn. On their upkeep, Let's start off with Snap Bolt, since regular Bolt is a lot more efficient. It's a lot easier to respond to a Lightning Helix with Bolt than it is Snap Bolt. Snap Bolt also threatens them with the Snapcaster Mage itself, especially with this Collar. I really like this build. Debatably more than I should, but man, does this feel great. This is Magic at its finest, right? And a Pyromancer. Do I even put that into play? I don't even need the collar, right? I'm just gonna hold on to the Lightning Bolt just because they might have Lightning Helix. I am giving them more time to draw it, but I'm also establishing... I mean, I'm not even establishing. We have the clock. It's here. I feel like we probably drew well that game, but man, did that feel great. All right, thank you all for watching. I had a good time. I hope you did too. That is basically, I hope you enjoyed the video. So let's just move on to I'll see you in the next one.